If you have a website or you use email in your marketing or your business, you want to see this video. Because in this one, I get a chance to talk with someone who is a C-level member of the #1 web hosting service in the world. That's GoDaddy, and this person is the Chief Product Officer. He showed some tips on how you can use your website, some new technologies that they have at GoDaddy that are incredible for getting your message out. We talked about email and a host of ideas that you're going to want to know about. So get ready as we talk to the Chief Product Officer of GoDaddy, Steven Aldrich. It's better time now to be a small business owner than ever before. The technology gives us the ability to reach more people, do it easier, and to even make more money. And you want the right team with you. One of the team members that I have with me is a company that I've had for a long time, and I like them. So in full disclosure, I work with it, and that company is GoDaddy. And matter of fact, we've got the Chief Product Officer of GoDaddy joining us right now, Steven Aldrich. He's joining us from offices out there in Silicon Valley. Steven, good to have you with us today.
Thanks, Terry. Delighted to be here, and thanks for being a customer.
Oh, yeah, I like it because what you're doing, I think, is very good. And I want to look at what you're doing at GoDaddy, some of the principles, and how others, those that are watching this, will be able to relate to that in their own business, in their own. But tell us a little bit about GoDaddy and the products that you have and how you work with small businesses as well as other businesses.
Yeah, I'll pick up on the theme that you started, which was there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, someone who's creating a new venture here, not just in the US, but around the world. We're seeing literally hundreds of millions of businesses that are using the new technology. And new technology, it is a spectrum from getting a website to using social media to using email and even mobile phones today, where in parts of the world that is the way that businesses get online and they find customers. So what GoDaddy has done from its roots are democratize technology for the little guy. So we've taken an opportunity that presented itself back in the late 90s, which was get people online with a domain. And now we've broadened that to help people create an online presence, an online identity that gives them the opportunity to get found, to communicate with customers using their own brand. And ultimately what we found is using your own brand creates a tremendous lift in the small business's growth rate. And that's really what we're here to do, is help these individuals become successful business owners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you demonstrate that very well, I think. And one of the things I particularly like is what GoDaddy has done. You and I talked a little bit about this before we started recording. You adapt and change based as the market says, hey, we got to do something. We also learn. All of us as businesses, we do certain things, and some things we do it well. Others we go, ooh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. What role does that play for the business person who's watching this? She's got a business, and what does she need to know about not only changing, but also what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I think there are a few key things that the last few years have led for us from our product perspective to do new and different things for customers. So if you rewind the clock just a couple of years, we found that most folks had a static website. So in the US, you had a static website and maybe no social presence at all. And so what we've done now is said, hey, when you create an online presence as a small business owner, you're trying to create the best opportunity to find new customers. Well, those customers are doing two things today. One, they're searching on their mobile phones. So let's make sure that your site is mobile enabled. And second, let's make sure that when those folks are searching their social networks, you're also findable. So we've adopted our product that's called GoCentral to be both social friendly, and all you have to do is build your site once, and it looks beautiful on any type of device that a potential customer might be looking at your site and deciding, do I want to do business with this person? And really that's what the site has done in the past, has been that calling card. And so the most recent set of work we've done is actually turn that calling card into an interactive online presence where you can book appointments, sell products or services, and really make that site work for you without having to add more employees necessarily to make your site work. Let's have you sleep, get some rest, recharge from your busy day, and have your site take an appointment. Let's let you have your site make a sale or book an appointment. So those things are really important when we think about using technology to make the life of the small business owner easier.
Yeah, I think that's going to be real good. Matter of fact, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that myself. You and I talked about it a little bit before we started recording.
Yeah.
Would you be kind enough to share your screen with us and maybe show us some of the things that Go Central will do? I'm curious as how we can use this and work with it.
Perfect, Terry. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, I'm seeing I press
All right.
escape, and right now we can see that.
All right, so what we're looking at right now is the first screen. If you had come to GoDaddy.com and clicked on Start My Trial. So you start for free and you jump directly into the Go Central product. And what this looks like is a gray template, but it's going to be pretty magical here. And we're going to start typing in some information about the business here. And if you don't mind, Terry, I'm a glass collector, and I spend a bunch of time at a local arts nonprofit. So I'm going to choose a category for my business in the art studio space, unless you've got an
Sounds
idea.
good. I like art studios. Let's go for it.
All right, let's go for it. So here we go. I'm going to start to type in art. You'll notice you see all these different areas start to show up as different potential things that I might choose. And I'm going to go straight for the arts and crafts. And then I'm going to call my site Stevens. And you'll notice over there on the other side of the screen, images are starting to show up. We're starting to see.
Over on the left side, we're seeing that.
Together. Yeah. So Stevens Art and Crafts. And let's say for sake of argument that, I look at this, I'm like, I'm not so much arts and crafts. It's really more of an art school that I'm thinking of. And you'll notice, again, we see a different set of existing content that comes right in so that your site, from the moment you say go, has things that are making this critically enabled for your business. And you'll see here in particular, learn with us, sign up for a course. That's actually what I do. So I'm an art school. So I'm going to customize this site as we get up and running. So now what I've got is this spectacular opportunity to say, all right, do I want to change the theme? Do I want to add pages? I'm going to start, I think, adding some content in here onto my site. So let's go ahead. I like this home page, and then I'm going to add a new page that is classes. So we're going to make some classes. So I've got a page with classes on this, and you can see here, and I've got 2 tabs, pretty simple. And now that I'm in classes, let's add a section. And you can see this is all happening live, and it's recommended. So based on what we know about your business and the vertical that you're in, we have seen literally hundreds of thousands of people build sites using our technology, and we've got these areas that are recommended. So appointments and services for sure. So
but Stephen, if I can interrupt you there for a moment, I think that's a great idea because too often in small businesses, we're on our own and we don't have the resources to bring in others. But what you're doing is you're using really a knowledge base of literally thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of websites that you've seen, and you know what generally works and what doesn't. So you make those suggestions and we can tie into that.
Yeah, that's a great way to talk about it. We know that small business owners are often working either by themselves or in a small number of other employees or contractors with them. And what we want to try to do is say, we want to help you and your unique business take advantage of all the learning we've had from so many other people that have been able to build a business like yours. So now I've got online appointments, and I'm excited about this, and I can start creating a new set of appointments right here on the fly. So I could go say, all right, great, let me add some appointments in here. And again, the beautiful thing about all this is it makes me, as a small business owner, really easily creating classes. So I'm not going to be open on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm open Fridays a little bit later so I can get the evening crowd. So I'm going to make this until 8 p.m. And what I can do now is start saying, all right, here are my hours. The services, and I'll just add one here. I'm going to do classes. So I don't really do appointments. I do classes. And the key with classes is to say, I'm going to have a set of customers who are interested in both building a new glass goblet. And when I think about that glass goblet, I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, glass goblet, and the pricing on that is going to be $100 for that class, and it's an hour-and-a-half class. And this is going to be, get your hands on a really hot medium, learn from the best instructors.
And Stephen, let me interrupt you again here. Would we be able to pop in a graphic if I wanted to show a picture of me teaching an earlier class?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I can talk about, yes, so you can put in pictures, you can make the site completely custom, and I can have folks book in advance. I can make sure I've got time in between appointments. So you can see
Mhm.
this is a really powerful system for me to get control over what I'm doing. And there is the business location versus at someone's house if I were going to go take my info out there. So we're going to type in 401 East Taylor Street, and that's in San Jose. And if I were already signed up, a lot of this information would be pre-filled.
Mhm.
And I get notifications if I'd like when I have people book. So that's my contact info. That way I know when folks are coming up, and do I want to take payment up front? Don't charge up front. When they come into the office, I'll go ahead and charge them for the class or have a deposit. So I'm going to say don't charge up front. I'll just take this when they show up. But again, we're trying to make this so simple that people can use their own business capabilities, but at the
Mhm.
same time, make it easy for the customer to show up. So now I've
Oh,
got
that's
one
nice.
class. So now we're back here, and I can change the images. I can add my own content in here. And we've got a beautiful looking site. I'll show you what it looks like in a second on mobile. And here we go. We've got the glass goblet. I can book this appointment, which is pretty amazing. So we just went from having no website at all to having a website. And by the way, it looks great on mobile. I can sit here and preview it entirely on what it looks like. On if this was a customer coming in and looking at my site on mobile, I don't have to do any other work. It just looks fantastic. I've got
Yeah.
my address. So it's a very easy to use, very powerful system. And I can go in and obviously edit images, edit content, add information about me, and I can add social tags as well, which again, you and I were talking about a little while ago, that it's so important to have a section, for example, here of social. So I could go ahead and link to, do I want Facebook? Do I want Instagram? And so all these things can instantly link my site back out. And in some cases, we actually create a Facebook page for you if you don't have one already. So the ability here to get your full online presence is so important. And at the end of all this, going back to GoDaddy's roots, when I go to publish, I can attach my domain or buy a domain and have my entire online presence up and running, and then use that domain for communications with the customers
I
as well.
like it. Well, Stephen, that is really a good tool for a business that they can now use this and be able to. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I like that. It's good. But now you mentioned social, something that we talked about before. I really want to get your perspective on it. I have some opinions myself, but a lot of people say, hey, today we've got social media. Email is something that we just don't want to use because people aren't paying attention to it anymore. I've heard people say that. What are your thoughts on that? And what have you seen out there with data in the industry?
Yeah, so we believe that social presence is important, but it can't be social presence alone. And the reason why is that the companies that are building social platforms are advertising based businesses. So what happens over time, and we saw this with Google search, is that those businesses want to charge you to reach your own customers. So if you're on Facebook and you publish a post today, your boost is going to be a paid for opportunity. But if you wanted to reach all of the folks in your database, you can't just publish a social media piece and assume it's going to get there. So email, and in particular email marketing, is something that allows you as the business owner to retain control of your own customers and reach them when you want to with your own messages, and you're in control. So we've seen the importance of email marketing and building an email list be a critical way to build the business. And even just basic plain old domain-based email, literally sending one email to a customer from your own email address, we've seen that be 9 times more likely to make a purchase happen from a customer than if you use something like a generic email address. So you want to build your own brand when you communicate with customers, and that's where things like email marketing, domain-based email come in addition to social, where you have the opportunity to get discovered across a wide variety of your friends and your friends' networks. So you really want both at the end of the day.
Yep. Well, very good point. We'll leave it there. Steven Aldrich, we appreciate you joining us on this. And we know we can reach you at GoDaddy.com if we want to find out more about GoCentral or other services that you have. Any final words that you have for that small business person that says, hey, I really want to figure out a way to get more customers coming in, that you'd leave them with as we say goodbye?
I think the final word is you can't learn until you try. So we know that half of small businesses still don't have an online presence today. So go try it out. We'd love folks to try GoCentral. We've got 24/7 live people who are there to help and provide support and advice when you need it. So there's no risk. The risk is literally not trying. So go ahead, get your online presence today and get more customers in the front door.
Yes, indeed. Well, Steven, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you. And please tell everybody there at GoDaddy we appreciate what they're doing.
Thank you, Terry.
All right. And for those of you watching this, think about what we've just seen, a way to customize what you're offering, what you can do, and to design a website that works. I particularly like that way that Steven showed us, where we can do that based on what has happened before. You're pulling from that knowledge base of what others have done. You don't have to go out and make the same mistakes. So learn from this, and I'd say it's well worth it to check it out. On behalf of Business Journals, I'm Terry Brock with terrybrock.com, and thank you for being with us today.